Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining this third part of, this is our final part of a three-part series. So I am Anita Campbell. I'm the Existing Business and Workforce Engagement Manager here at Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance, and I'm here to guide you during our time together. This meeting focuses on resources and tools with local businesses and is made possible with the support of a grant by WAFED. So I'd like to start off by giving a huge shout out to WAFED Bank. WAFED is the reason why we are here. And today, WAFED is sponsoring and supporting this series of webinars. Hopefully there will be more coming in the future. So if I can, I'd love to kick it over to Ms. Michelle Coons of WAFED to say a few words.
Good morning, Anita, and thank you. Very honored and pleased to be here today. You know, small business is absolutely the heart and soul of America. And I saw a statistic where 80% of small business only have one employee in the United States. And I don't think we value that enough. And actually 96% have 20 employees or less. So it's an honor for WAFED to support today. I think the topic is just so appropriate. Our employees are so critical to our success. And one of our favorite slogans at WAFED Bank is love what you do, then make a difference. And so much of that is interfacing with our small business clients. So thank you very much. And I look forward to enjoying the panel and the information today as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. So a little bit about AREA. AREA is a 501c3 nonprofit serving the greater Albuquerque metro across Sandoval, Valencia, Torrance, and Bernalillo counties. Here you see our contributors. So want to give a thank you to all of these contributors who make this work very possible. You see levels here, and if you ever want to get in touch with these community-oriented contributors to support them or to see how your businesses can align, you will find the full list on our website. And don't worry, throughout the webinar, you will see many QR codes that link to our website. But thank you to our contributors and our community partners listed here. So also a bit about our mission and goals. I covered that we're a 501c3 public charity. We also are Metro. We represent as AREA the 4-county Metro, and we are here. We aim to attract, locate, and grow within the region. So our purpose is to grow and diversify the economic base. That means those of you that are on here that might be with micro business, small business, medium size to large, to that 1,000+ employer. So we are here to support you, and thank you for being a part of our mission. Here is a piece about our organizational structure. We act as a regional partner and conduit between state level resources and community. So you see the New Mexico Partnership and the State Economic Development Department on the top here. We also are part of the regional business identity. And then below, you'll see how we interface with the local municipalities that are partnered in this work. So we are engaging in several layers of structure to support. Let me show you those layers. Here we go. So this categorizes our services. We both act as a regional partner. I mentioned that conduit between state level resources and communities. We provide that in-depth market analysis so that we are ensuring that we're engaging up-to-date information and giving that reporting back. You'll see an example of that a little bit later in my slides. We also engage in prospecting, site selection. We assist companies in finding location in the region. And we offer services ranging from, as I mentioned, that deep market analysis to matching companies with incentive programs. So think of that as the single point of contact. Anyone that you need to get in touch with to advance your business or to find out how you can help represent other businesses we love to serve as that single point of contact. So I'm going to introduce each of our speakers. We have two great speakers today and myself. So that's three speakers. I would like to ask you to please hold your questions till the end of the webinar, so each speaker can have adequate time to cover their material. Please drop any questions that you have. I'm watching the chat as well as the Q&A. So there's plenty of time reserved for discussion at the end, and we would love to have a robust discussion. Also know, I mentioned earlier, this is the third part of a three webinar series. And also, if you would please drop in any topics into the chat that interest you. We'd love to provide future content that addresses your business needs. So I am very pleased to announce our first speaker. This is Miss Ann McKinney, the Outreach Coordinator with the Education Plan. So Ann has extensive experience in marketing in multiple industries and markets, and her career spans decades. Ann has a passion for New Mexico, where she has made her home for the last 40 years. Throughout those years, Ann has held marketing positions in Cincinnati, New York, LA, and Albuquerque. And those marketing leadership positions include West Coast Sound, Petrie Automotive, Loveless Health Plan, Sandia Area Federal Credit Union, Zia Graphics, and currently the New Mexico Education Trust Board. Ann is a child welfare advocate dedicated to helping improve the lives of children in New Mexico. She is very passionate about being a catalyst for positive change in this state. She has 2 adult children, 3 grandchildren who all live in Albuquerque, and she grew up in Zanesville, Ohio. Attended Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, where she majored in marketing and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in business administration. Ann, I will advance the slides for you when you tell me to. It is all yours.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here presenting to you on the education plan. I know you're experts on your own business, but as Michelle said, I love that you just said we're all trying to make a positive difference every day. And as you heard, I'm a self-proclaimed child welfare advocate, but I truly believe that education for children will help enable them to a future where they will thrive. And so I am just thrilled to be here. I'm going to give you an overview of the education plan, direct features and benefits, and then we'll close with, I hope at that point you might see how offering the information on this to your employees will be showing them you care about them, you care about their children, and perhaps fit into your benefits plan. All right, so we're going to start here. It's easy to help your employees save for their children's future, and it doesn't cost you as the business anything. Next slide, please. What is the New Mexico Education Trust Board? That is who we are under as the education plan. And basically, we're from the state of New Mexico, and we're governed by a board of directors. We have about $2.2 billion, I think, under asset management at this point. Our biggest task is to educate and provide awareness on 529 plans. Next slide. Specifically, what is the education plan? 529 plan might be what people have heard of the most because that is the federal name of this plan, and the new education plan is New Mexico's version of that. So it's just important to know that 529 is the section of the IRS code that authorizes tax-advantaged college savings plans. Money in a 529 account is professionally managed and may benefit from the power of compounded growth. And then the last bullet, of course, it's tailored to meet your needs of where your goals are. Next slide, please. Why start a 529 education savings plan? The cost of college continues to rise, so it's important to begin saving as soon as possible. By helping more kids go to college, we are strengthening our future workforce. Many students and their families use student loans, and saving with a 529 plan can help students finance a debt-free education and ease that huge burden of student debt. And with no minimum required to start, saving for college is easy. And when you start early with consistent saving efforts, higher education is more attainable. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Don't forget, tuition is just the tip of the iceberg. The cost of college includes much more than just tuition. The average cost of 1 year at a public four-year university is nearly $30,000, and only about 40% of that is tuition. The rest includes expenses for room and board, books and supplies, and other expenses, and those can all be paid for through the education plan. And I know New Mexico, at this point, we are very fortunate to have the Opportunity Scholarship, and in addition to the Lottery Scholarship and a lot of means to get our children onto higher education. But again, that's why we point this out. Tuition is only part of it. Next slide, please. Financial aid is harder to come by. While costs continue to increase, financial aid has been decreasing, but using the education plan can help offset this trend. Next slide, please. Believing in a child. That just goes across the board, whatever I'm going to say on child welfare. But believing a child will go to college or anything post-high school positively affects their outlook. Data shows that with just $500 saved for higher education, kids are 3 times more likely to attend college or vocational school and 4 times more likely to graduate. It sets them up for success when they know someone believes in them. Next slide, please. The tax advantages are important. This is what people want to hear about. The tax advantages are great. Tax-free growth and tax-free withdrawals if the money is used for qualified education expenses. For New Mexico residents, there's a state income tax deduction for any contributions to the plan for the year in which contributions are made. Next slide, please. Who can open an account? Anyone, anytime can open an account, and individuals do that for themselves and their beneficiaries on our website, theeducationplan.com. As long as you are at least 18 years of age and have a social security number or tax ID. You don't need to be related to the beneficiary. You can even open an account for yourself to further your own education, and many people do. It's always a good time to start saving for college. It's never too early. It's never too late. Next slide, please. Where can you use your 529 savings? This is important. There are misconceptions about that, so I love being able to tell people funds can be used at any accredited schools in the country, inside and outside of New Mexico. So that includes trade and vocational schools, 2- and 4-year colleges, public and private schools, graduate and professional schools, and even some international schools. Next slide, please. What can you use it for? What do you have to study? Anything. You can use almost anything, right? Asterisk. You can use the savings in your account for a variety of courses of study, from certificates, master's, and PhD programs. Next slide, please. Examples of qualified expenses. There have been changes, and the plan is 529 plans are federal, but New Mexico implements our New Mexico version of it. And some of this has just changed in the last year in New Mexico based on some changes that our state legislature made. And this is really important. Changes under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Acts of 2018 have also made it possible to use 529 plans to cover K through 12 tuition costs up to $10,000 per year per student at public, private, or religious elementary or secondary schools, and to transfer up to $19,000 per year to an ABLE account for the beneficiary. You can also now use up to $10,000 to repay qualified student debt. And beginning in 2024, families can now move up to $35,000 from a 529 account that has been in place for 15 years or more to a Roth IRA for the beneficiary. These have been huge. Next slide, please. This is important. Where does your money go? So we have divided our plan investments into two broad categories. You see them right on the website. One is Keep It Simple and one is Show Me Options. Keep It Simple is by far our most popular. And for my own 3 grandchildren that are ages 2, 5, and 7, I've opened accounts for all 3 of them. I have used the Keep It Simple, and I put in the date they are going to turn 18. And as an account holder, I don't have to direct their plans and use their plans when they turn 18. I can use it before or after, but at least it gave a target for the investments. Next slide, please. How much can I save? This just shows a hypothetical. If people make monthly contributions, as we all know, sometimes I tell people, the money you don't see, if people just have this, set up as either a direct deposit or payroll deposit or whatever, as the money can add up. I talked to one gentleman who'd set up direct deposit, and he said, I set up this a year ago for my 3 children, and now we have $4,000 and we don't know where it came from. And I'm like, well, it came from you, but he is making monthly contributions and was just overwhelmed to tell me that he finds it very positive to be saving for his children. Next slide, please. Putting money into that account, right? So this shows you 5 ways. Like if you want to get money in there, you can do it any way in the world you want, whether it's for yourself, your families, your children, or your employees. There are no minimum contributions. You can contribute as much or as often as you'd like, whatever fits your budget and goals. And actually, my son and daughter-in-law have accounts for the same 3 children as are my 3 grandchildren. So these children have 2 accounts set up for them right now. And for Father's Day, I told my son, I'm giving you what you want for Father's Day. I'm putting money into your children's education plans. And he was like, that's so funny. I thought I just wanted a book. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get you that too. But that being said, you want to put money into your accounts, your children's accounts, you can do it. Next slide, please. And this next account is what I was really telling you about, which is how I put money into my grandchildren's account, but the accounts that have been set up by their parents. And it was just easy. They sent me the QR code from their account and I stuck in a few bucks here and there for them. Next slide, please. How does this fit into your plan for your benefits for your employees? As you know, employees just want to know these days, well, I think, in my humble opinion, after a lifetime in business, employees want to know they're cared about by their employers. And this is just how we think we can give you the gift of helping you retain your best employees with the gift of education. You can do that by offering the education plan as an optional benefit to your employees. And that can take on whatever that might mean to your company. I could make presentations. I could give you information. I could come to a benefits fair. Whatever that means in your company, as you strengthen and look at your benefits package, we will make that work for you if you want to get the information out to your employees. Next slide, please. We do company newsletters. Like we just work one-on-one with companies if you want this information. This shows everyone sets up their own accounts on our website. Again, theeducationplan.com. And if they choose to the direct deposit option, they basically will be filling out a form, printing that out and bringing it into your HR department or whatever. And then we would work with you. You just reach out to us and we would set that up that you can do a direct deposit. But that being said, and this shows you how you would do it, you could submit to us money that you would withhold from your employees' accounts. That being said, that's different for every employer, how that works. But again, employees are pretty excited about it, honestly. And your employees can set up plans and you can offer it as a benefit and you don't have to offer a direct deposit. So again, we tailor our plans to meet you. Next slide. In a nutshell, I'm Ann McKinney. I've put up there my information as well as Carolyn's information, our marketing director, and I will be staying for questions at the end. I hope at least I've given you enough of an overview to get you the information you need to consider the education plan for your employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. I love when I get the opportunity to meet with companies, presenting this as an add-on no cost benefit to employers, and just wanted you to know that I have 2 grandbabies or 1 coming and several great nieces and nephews, and they all have 529 education plans. I love to do that more than spend a lot of money on shipping because they're all out of state. But thank you so much for your presentation. Please stay till the end. And if you have any questions to all of our attendees, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll address those at the end of the webinar. Okay. So our next speaker is Justin Hilliard, Workforce Development Liaison for the City of Albuquerque. Justin leads the Job Training Albuquerque program. You'll see it referred to as JTA. JTA was put in place to help local small businesses grow while enabling their employees to gain valuable in-demand skills and enhance their career growth. With over 20 years of experience in marketing, filmmaking, and economic development, Justin brings a creative approach to workforce development by incorporating really innovative solutions, which helps businesses and individuals thrive. Outside of work, Justin is a movie enthusiast, a basketball fan, and enjoys spending time with his wife, son, and 2 dogs. Justin, it's all yours. It appears that Justin may have.
I just checked it. Let's see. Is that better?
There you are. We can hear you now.
I'm here. So I was going to say thank you, Anita, and the rest of the area team. Thanks so much for having me, and then thank you everyone for joining us today. I have the joy of representing the City of Albuquerque's Economic Development Department, specifically, talking about the Job Training Albuquerque program, which, as Anita said, I have the joy to oversee that and see the results of it. So let's just dig in, and we can go into the next slide. So what is JTA? First of all, it's a partnership between the City of Albuquerque's Economic Development Department and C&M. C&M administers the program for us, and the city provides the funding. It is a free workforce development program, so we offer 150 skills trainings and other certifications for free for small businesses based in the City of Albuquerque. The program launched in January 2020, which is a date that probably, kind of makes the flag go up. And we launched it right before the shutdowns and everything like that happened. And luckily, we're in a position to really kind of pivot and focus on some hybrid models, virtual models, and start the program and get it to grow. And then by the time that, where we are now, we've been able to grow it quite successfully. And you'll see the numbers there. So to date, it's actually over 2,500 employees at over 315 small businesses in the City of Albuquerque. and they've reported adding over 200 jobs. And so within the program, we track jobs added, which is the goal of the program with these small businesses. It's not a requirement, but that's the goal. And then we also track wage increases. And these companies have reported adding more than 25% increase in wages for employee participants. We can go on to the next slide. Our program goals for the employees, it gives us an opportunity to hopefully empower employees, let them take the reins of their career, let them have opportunities to upskill and elevate, where they're at, and maybe pursue potential different positions that they didn't have before, or even if it's a job elsewhere eventually, give them those skills and confidence. Employers, I mean, not only is it a recruitment tool where you can say that this is something that we can offer to you if you come, and work for us, but it also saves money whenever it comes to training and upskilling who you have already employed. It gives you someone that, if you have this employee and you're able to give them these skills or give them this opportunity, they feel that worth, which was discussed in the last presentation. They feel appreciated, and again, it's that self-confidence, self-empowerment, and employers get to benefit off of that too. And then for the city of Albuquerque, it's pretty obvious, but yeah, it drives the local economy. Small businesses are the heart and soul of the economy. So as a department, we're dedicated to servicing small businesses. And, this is just one of the things that we do that really pushes it out there and shows that we're here to support you. Next slide. So what is JTA versus, say, sister programs? If you read the last presentation and then you've heard about JTIP and WIOA, our goal was to complement those programs and provide something that will fill in the gaps for small businesses that might not be available with those other ones. We also include industries that are not applicable for those other programs too. And then specifically, we're for City of Albuquerque small businesses, and that's incorporated areas only. And so that's going to be the main difference between the two. But we've had participants that have been JTIP participants that have also taken advantage of JTA as well. Slide. So employer eligibility, we keep it really simple, and that's one of the things that just wows me about this program every day when I get to speak about it. Is typically when you think about a government-run program, you're like, oh, but the red tape, what am I going to have to give? What am I going to have to provide? How long is this going to take to get approval? Basically, as long as you're registered as a for-profit, not-for-profit, it can be a sole proprietor. As long as you're headquartered in the Albuquerque city limits, which is your principal place of doing business. So when you set up your business, as long as your principal place of doing business is in the city of Albuquerque, you have less than 500 employees, which is most businesses in the area. And then the business is located in Albuquerque for at least a year, or if not, if you got your business certificate and you're just starting out, business owner just has to have been a resident for at least a year before being able to access the training fund. Next slide. So our requirements, and it looks like somewhere along the way the dots shifted or something in the presentation. It was clean on my end, but I'll take the fall for that. But the dots, let's see. Employer requirements: willing and able to increase the workforce by at least one employee in the next 2 years. That's our goal. We want jobs added, hopefully, and we want wages increased. So whenever you sign up, you're saying that's a goal of yours. So even if you are a sole proprietor and it's just you at this point, eventually, we hope that you can grow to the point that you can add an employee. And so that we're also, we ask that if you're going to participate, that you're willing to support your employee, that you're going to provide them with the time to be able to and support to be able to take advantage of the trainings. Some of these are very, short, condensed certification trainings. Some of these could take, span 3 to 6 months. So we want to make sure that the employer is, supporting their employee. And then the way that we, basically our performance measures and measurables up is the survey. So, and who administers the program does a survey right before, right after, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, and if you're still participating, we do every year after that as well. And that's where we get all our information about jobs added, wages increased, demographics, what companies we're serving, what areas that we can focus on more. And we can go to the next slide. All right, so I talked about that easy process, not too much red tape. Basically, your company applies for JTA. The website is jobtrainingabq.org. That'll be on the last slide with a QR code as well. It's simple what it asks for. It lays out the requirements. You provide your business certificate, make sure you meet those requirements, and then you'll receive confirmation pretty quickly. And then once you receive confirmation, basically you just can prove our catalog as far as what's offered and say this is what I want to register my employee for, and it's a pretty simple process. Next slide. Our training providers. We started out with just a couple, of course, CNM and CNM Ingenuity is on there. We also have UNM Anderson School of Management and continuing education, a lot of great offerings with those. Years with to align with the Mayor's Housing Forward initiative, we decided to further emphasis on the construction industry. So we added partnership with AGC New Mexico and ACNM. We've also had around that time added Courts Academy, which unfortunately I just received word this morning that they're permanently closed. So they're no longer training providers of ours, but we're looking at replacing the certified health assistants and nursing assistant programs that we had with those with CNM programming as well. The program started with a focus on early childhood education. You'll see the New Mexico Child Care and Education Association. So they provide the 45-hour, 16-hour infant toddler training for early childhood education centers locally for free. And so that's been a big successful part of the program, and it still continues to get a lot of, we're able to support a lot of businesses in the area. And then we recently added last year the New Mexico Restaurant Association, which would put more of an emphasis on the hospitality industry and see where we can support the local restaurant industry that was hit so hard with the pandemic. So we're still looking at ways that we can maybe get on the hotelier side and provide some trainings that could be nice pathways towards careers in those fields too. Next slide. And again, the dots. Let's see. So some of our highlight of trainings, and there's 150 plus, but some of our most popular ones that I'll speak to is Leadership Academy. Professional development programs are really solid, and a lot of companies take advantage of those. And let's see, are we back onto? We got bubbles on this one. I did not add any bubbles. So we got professional development, leadership. Can we go back to the previous slide real quick?
Sorry about that, Justin.
And those are ones that a lot of companies where they see potential in an employee, they can send them to those, and we've had great success stories of those employees being elevated to management positions or positions with more responsibility. Digital marketing is always popular, accounting, QuickBooks, HR bundle, but we also offer things like the CDL Fast Track. So if you have a business and you're doing this, you can also get something as a side hustle on the side, so you have more opportunities. We also have employers that that's a huge part of their business, and so they send their employees to the CDL Fast Track and other ones. You'll see some construction ones on there as well. All right, next slide. As you can see, the benefits for both employees and employers, and how it's a tool for companies looking to come here or someone looking to start a business. It can be a benefit to offer to them, to be able to offer to their employees as well. And then for the employees, as I said, is anything we can do to empower you to take control of your career and maybe take that step that you weren't necessarily seeing as an option, or you didn't think you had that potential, and try it out, and you can see some career growth. One of my favorite stories is with one of the early childhood education centers. They sent these sisters to get their 45-hour training and then the leadership development, and they ended up getting their own facility where they're co-directors of. And so it's stories like that I hear them sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, but it's just it makes it such a joy to oversee this program, and I just love helping small businesses in the area. So that's it for my presentation. You'll see on the next slide. Contact information on the website. It's a real easy application process. You just visit the top, you'll see trainings, application. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. We'll also do the Q&A at the end. But again, Anita, Area, thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for joining us too.
Thank you, Justin, and apologies for those couple of technical difficulties. Thank you so much also for bringing that story of connection of how this program is serving our local community and helping. So really appreciate what you guys are doing. Okay, everyone. So I get to be your next speaker, and you know, nothing a little bit odder than giving your own description, but bear with me. I do have the distinct honor of serving the Albuquerque Metro in the capacity of listening to our business owners and employers to gauge business climate needs. So I turn those resources that I learn and also make sure that they know, and we weave in workforce conversations into our time together when I'm meeting with employers. A little about me: I've lived in 7 places, mostly southern states, and worked within manufacturing, occupational health, and workforce pipeline of that great work of developing the future recruitable talent in step with local kindergarten through 12th grade schools and community college, and also economic development organizations. Outside of work, I enjoy traveling, uncovering fascinating corners of the Wild West, and spoiling my pitiful pitbull child, Sapphire. So I'm going to present to you about our Business Retention and Expansion Program. Here you see it referred to as BRE, as you will throughout the presentation, and just want to convey to you that from an economic development perspective, when we are talking about BRE, we are talking about the companies that are already here, and that makes up 80% of new jobs and capital investment that comes from companies that already exist in your community. So the purpose of our BRE outreach, I want to do my best job I can weaving in our previous 2 speakers as well as our previous 2 webinars. But our goal, and we work with so many amazing partners, and we'll have a partner slide in a few clicks, but it's to help businesses survive economic challenges. It's to be an ear to listen to them, also assist with expansions, help add more jobs. JTA is a perfect example of employers that may want to take someone that's showing a lot of potential within their organization, want to give them additional skill sets and promote them, and then backfill and add that maybe more entry-level position, and then that creates this cycle of economy. We also always want to talk competitiveness and present that how that affects locally, regionally, and nationally. So we're not just looking within our own paradigms of New Mexico. We also, you'll see later how we gather data and are able to present that information that is gathered from these meetings publicly and privately in group aggregate form. Point to resources, and I've got a resource slide I'm really excited about, so I want to expand there. And tighten the bond within the community. We're not from the government here to help, we're from your community. And that's the way all of our partners feel. And it's wonderful to have audience with these companies and employers. So here's my slide, and this is, I titled it Referral Partner Success, and I definitely won't read off everybody here, but I want to demonstrate the ecosystem that makes up the BRE program. So within past webinars, you've seen representation, and this one, JTA talked about a direct correlation with CNM and CNM Ingenuity. Of course, we work heavily with our education partners, and that includes trade organizations like the Manufacturing Engineering Partnership and the builder organizations and Workforce Solutions. Workforce Solutions was represented on our previous webinar. Also, we are often, or I get to point small businesses towards those service organizations that exist here in our ecosystem to support them. And please don't take this as completely comprehensive. There are probably some partners on that deserve to be on here, but I started off putting logos and it looked like a NASCAR shirt. So I went to bullets, but and ran out of space. But also want to call in our additional partners in the bottom corner, from utilities, government, from our banks like our sponsor, WaFed, commercial brokers, builders, and then you guys are all of our attendees, all of our presenters. We go to school, our kids go to school, basketball coaches, and representatives in the community that are employed represent these employers, and they may be talking to you about stresses and strains or challenges that you can bring to me and to our network in order to address that and work to retain those companies here in our market. So talked a little bit about meeting with employers and bringing in partners. A lot of times those meetings are not just myself, but they're also representative from our state economic development department, from our city economic development department, as well as some of those other partners represented, education. It really varies based on the need, but we also gather a lot of insights. So for the first time, you're going to see, if you tune in soon to our website on our business resources page, there'll be a QR code shortly. We're putting out an insight report that shares what has been gathered over the year in 2024, as well as what we are shooting for as far as goals to continue to enhance our support of our existing businesses. In the middle, you're seeing an example of some data that we use to pull from one of our data resources in order to figure out how to target which companies in order to give a large percentage of our outreach. So what you see in the middle is we analyze 2,100 companies. You'll see from that 26% in this scale, 1 being least likely to expand, 5 being most likely to expand, 26% showed high potential for growth or above average potential. And we want to know that and be there to support. And on the right, you'll see the industries that were analyzed as part of that data pool. So here I get to share resources with you. I see in our attendees, we have employees, employers, and so these are free resources that are available for you. Want you to explore our local business page. Please take a shot at this QR code. On there, you'll see a still on the right of our last 2 webinars. Justin previously mentioned WIOA and the JTIP organization. That was the December webinar. The September one was focused around an internal tool for property search. It's available to anyone through our website. Lots of business resources. I'll also hold up, we have this business retention and expansion program booklet that I take into meetings. There's an electronic version on there and just links to so many organizations within our ecosystem, from funding to small business support, some who to get in contact with about incentives, and of course, how to reach out and take our survey and provide some additional data that we can report back. We also have a free online jobs board and promotion. This QR code will take you directly to it. It is very user-friendly. It is free to anyone who wants to post a job in this region. You have complete control over the submissions and get notifications in real time if there are applicants. So please take advantage of it. Also, our internal marketing team pushes out and boosts the new postings on our jobs board page. So please take advantage of this free resource. I talked about the previous 2 webinar series. You will see this one posted in a week or so. You can scan here if you'd like a direct source to those past 2 webinars. And as I mentioned, the first one was about research tools. This one, my apologies, the one in December was JTIP and WIOA, and then this one will be posted as well in about a week. Use them, please, for recruiting and for referral back to these wonderful programs. Want to take a moment, I don't think I weaved in yet, and I'll do so now, about how closely workforce and talent conversations factor into these meetings with local employers. I mentioned to you my background in workforce and pipeline creation, particularly in manufacturing. So we are just now launching our newest, shiniest, and I'm very personally biased and excited about it, our Talent Insights Advisory Council. We will be, we are still forming what we're solving for, but our ultimate goal is to collect as much information from our business leaders in the community to report back, as well as to gauge what is needed for our weaving into our education partners from a talent perspective, and how our reporting can help support that. So that is all that I had to say. And now we get to move on to Q&A. So if I can encourage our attendees to submit any questions that you have up to any of our speakers. We have the education plan. Miss Ann is still online. We have Job Training Albuquerque with Justin still online, and myself. So please put any of those questions in the chat. And while we're waiting on a question, Ann, I heard you give one story about a father who was so excited to learn about how his funds are building towards his children's education. I was wondering if you might have possibly another favorite story that you can share while we're waiting for questions to come in.
Thank you so much. I did see your question, but after I talked,
Sure.
my favorite when I'm out and I have the best job in the world, I get to go out and talk to people. My favorite is the people who come up to me and say, I had this for my children. This is how they got through college, or this is how they got through wherever they went, or the testimonials, because now we've got enough years behind us that we are into second generations of people, or parents are coming up and say, my parents had this for me, and now I am opening this for my children. So those are my favorite stories, and there are a lot of testimonials.
Okay.
There is a question. Should I just answer that since I see the
Please
question?
do. It's directed right to you.
There you go. I saw 529 plan. On the study abroad and questions I don't know the answer to, by the way, I always refer people to our website, theeducationplan.com, where there is a huge question and answer, so much more information than we could fit into a week, let alone 20 minutes. And also a 1-800 number you can call. Can it use for study abroad? It depends. And that's just a very frank, direct answer. So I wouldn't commit to that until it was researched in advance. There are overseas places that money can be used at, overseas institutions, but not everywhere. And it does not include transportation. And some people say that I'm in UNM doing their study abroad. Will it pay for my plane? And at this point, it does not include transportation, though we know that is on the radar and being looked at.
Thank you, Ann.
And shout out to City of Albuquerque, because City of Albuquerque does have us at their benefits fair at least twice a year, and to all their divisions, and they do offer a direct deposit. And I know we have a large amount of City of Albuquerque employees that are happy to have the education plan.
And Anita, I'm going to go ahead and jump in there because I saw what you typed in there. One thing that I didn't mention in the presentation is the flexibility that we have with adding trainings. So if we're talking to a small business and it's something that we don't offer, we can talk with our training providers to see if it's something that we can add. And in a lot of cases we can. And we've even worked on some customized trainings for some small businesses for larger groups to be able to do things specific with like advanced manufacturing and mechatronics and things like that too. So that there's a lot of flexibility there. And another thing is that if you are approved as a small business to take advantage of the JTA, you can access up to $15,000 worth of. Now we go each year. It's a non-recurring program, so each year we're going back and asking for funding and wanting to continue on, which the program's doing well, so it should. For this fiscal year until the end of June. It will. If you're approved, you can access up to $15,000. So those trainings can be anything from like an $80, Adobe Illustrator training program to a $13,000 deep dive coding training. So let's see.
I just did.
Wait, I'll mute and let you get that in.
I'm sorry about that, y'all. I hit a button and didn't know it would go to this screen. Thank you for that, Justin. I was actually going to trigger that question because there has been wonderful opportunities where JTA and C&M Ingenuity went into employers alongside with our BRE program and presented those customized solutions. And bravo on that front, because so many employers need customized training. And I apologize that my screen has gone weird, but I'm going to leave it where it is. We do have a question. Is there a sector focus in terms of priorities from the New Mexico State Governor, Department of Workforce Solutions, and Economic Development Department? And Mathis, the answer to that is absolutely yes. We as an organization have 6 focus sectors that we focus on and do well. And we continue to build those conversations. And we partner directly with Department of Workforce Solutions and the State Economic Development Department to ensure that those sectors continue to remain relevant, and often are providing additional data searches in order to validate that. One way that we do that is we take a look at our existing pipeline of projects that are looking at this area, and we analyze regularities between those and report back to all of the partners that you mentioned in real time. So absolutely, we are on the pulse with sector strategies.